And if anyone has a question,
Stuart, I have a question. It's Paula. You had mentioned a couple weeks back when you discovered a teacher was using black magic on you and you had to cut the cords. Could you talk about that and maybe how we can protect ourselves from dark energy?
uh, okay, I mean, I don't really want to go into this in depth. This is a very difficult subject. And it took me years to learn how to do what you just said. But it came at exactly the right time and it was used in order to protect myself. And one of the miracles of this work is you have teachers in the cosmos. There's energies in the cosmos that if you open deep enough, you can connect with those energies and they will put protective shields around you to keep people from doing, what they call in Brazil, macumba, or this black magic that people get involved in and do. You can also set up shields around yourself. And what I've learned, the best way to keep that kind of insanity from doing any damage is to just forgive the people that are doing it. They don't know what they're doing. It's unconscious. It comes from a place of anger, unhappiness. And when you forgive them, you also set up a shield around yourself because the heart is open. And the easiest way for people to do damage to us is if our hearts are closed. If we're in our minds, we're worried, we're thinking about it, there's no balance inside us. So all of these elements of our work will protect you. Being connected with me Rudy, I'll never forget, he set up a protective shield around me. And he gave me these two protective divinities that are with me all the time, and are there to do exactly that. A lot of this macumba stuff, this black magic stuff, is done through jealousy. People, at least in my life, it was the people, were jealous of the fact that I was doing Rudy's work in really a kind of pure way, exactly the way I was taught it, in a deep way. And people were jealous. They were angry. They did all kinds of insanity in order to keep me to try from doing this. What protected me was Nityananda, Rudy. I was told, I was in Delhi and I was told, you've got to go to Calcutta and sit at Ramakrishna and Sarada Devi's shrine. And I was with two students of mine and I told them, I said, look, Calcutta, honestly, it's one of the armpits of the world. It's really a very difficult place to spend time. And I said, if you don't want to go, I understand, but I have to go to Calcutta. I was told this. And I went to Ramakrishna's shrine there. They have a temple, Dakshineshwar it's called, and I went there and sat for an hour and a half. And again, both Ramakrishna and Sarada Devi, they came and they set up protective shields around me. And they told me how important it was for me to come there and sit with them and be with them. And they set up these protective shields. So this work we do is kind of miraculous because it will attract into your life exactly what you need in order to get through any kind of stuff that people do or that you do to yourself or that goes on in life, And sometimes we have a kind of naivety about ourselves and pretend that these things don't exist, and they do exist. There's a dark energy in the world, and we need, you know, a shield, a protection to keep it from, you know, saturating our inner lives, you know? And, you know, you see it in politicians, you see it in business, when people are involved with money. It's when people have no inner development, this dark energy that's in the world can use them to create all kinds of bullshit in life. I mean, you know, it's what the United States is going through right now with this coronavirus. And I mean, what is this all about? You know, climate change. It's about nature finally having gotten tired and said, look, you've been treating me this way for hundreds of years. I can't take it anymore. And this is what you're going to have, you know? Because people with their hearts open, that are not greedy, that are not, they don't have just dollar bills or, you know, whatever it is in their brains, you know, they don't treat the world that way. They treat the world with love. And what comes back is what they give off. So all of this stuff is part of a dark energy that exists in the world. And you can do this inner work to open to higher forces. You can, it's wonderful to have teachers in the cosmos working for you, like Rudy, Nityananda, you know, Kala Rinpoche, who is a very great teacher of mine, although I only met him for 3 days, you know, and they're in the cosmos. I remember I went to Sanada, this is years after I first met him, and he had passed on, Kala Rinpoche, and they had a burial mound there, you know, for him. And I went and I sat down, I started doing a deep meditation, and he just told me, I've been waiting for you to come back here. And I spent about 45 minutes meditating there. And he gave me the whole essence of Tibetan Buddhism, the wisdom and the compassion, which is the essence of Tibetan Buddhist teachings. He said, I've been waiting, and these teachers work for us. We have to be open to receive what they have to give. And we have to not go with our egos and our minds and what we think is right and our opinions. Just go open and let the universe teach us. Let it teach us how to grow, how to build an inner life that is strong enough so that if this Makuma crap ever happens to you, you know, you have the capacity to deal with it. You have connections in the cosmos. You know, they say connections are everything. Well, in spiritual practice, they're very important also. You need to have teachers in the cosmos working for you so they can provide wisdom, they can provide protection, they can provide, you know, all kinds of stuff that are essential for us to live our lives in the kind of world that we live in. So this is, you know, this is really important stuff. And I mean, I don't talk about this a lot, but it's really important. It served me in my life. I mean, I was once told I had 3 months to live, that I really had better do something very deep inside, you know, in order to change that energy flow that was trying to do this damage to me. And I did, you know, I went so deep inside that all of these teachers, I just went up there screaming at them, you have to come down. You want me to do work on the earth. You have things for me to do. And you have to come down here and set up a protective shield so that I can do God's work on the earth. So just, you know, understand, I'm not doing this to try to scare anybody, but just that you got to grow. And then as you grow, there are all kinds of tests that you are confronted. I mean, it's like Christ with 40 days and nights in the desert fighting with the devil. You know, all of that is like metaphor for what human beings have to go through in order to ultimately have a state of spiritual enlightenment. The Buddha fasting for 40 days and nights. I mean, I've seen statues of the Buddha where they have him in a state of, when he fasted, and it's just this shriveled up, powerful mess, that you look at of this, I mean, it's extraordinary. They're very powerful statues of him in a deep state of meditation, but, physically like a skeleton virtually. This goes on in the world, and the wonderment of what we do is that you attract what protects you, what helps you in life. And that's not something in your head. It really has to do with connecting with energies that are on a higher plane. And we have teachers, Rudy, Nityananda, Ramana Maharshi, I mean, all these teachers that do this for me, they can do the same thing for you. One has to just connect with them.
Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? I mean, as you all learn and grow in this work, you'll learn how miraculous it is. This incredible gift that Rudy left to us. It's a miraculous thing because it really takes you deep enough in yourself to be able to connect with whatever you need at any moment in your life to help you to grow. I mean it. It certainly has worked for me that way. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? And you keep tapping me, I mean, there's an endless resource that flows through here that can help everyone really develop an inner life. And it's a matter of listening. It's not a matter of analyzing and thinking about it, and having juxtapositions and opinions and what you think is right or wrong. It's all bullshit, it's just taking in the Shakti and let it build you so that you get ultimately the real answers come, from a place that's really very high in the cosmos, from all these gods and divinities and, these teachers and lohans that are up there, and they're there to serve every one of us. That's their purpose, to serve us. The bodhisattvas come back to the earth, but then there are many energy fields in the cosmos that their purpose is to serve us. It's to help us evolve and grow. And the deeper we go into ourselves, the more open we are to receive what the universe has to teach. And what the universe has to teach is an endless, endless state of wisdom and knowledge and protection and what we need in order to live in a place like the earth. And then you have that protection, you don't have to hide out. You can really open and allow life to be this temple, this great temple that it is. It's a miraculous place that we live. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Okay,
Could repeat that mantra you gave the other day with, it was like Rudy in my heart, Nityananda in my soul.
yeah, okay, yeah, people have emailed me and texted me asking about that, and yeah, it's just, you just say, we're children of God, with Rudy in my heart, with Nityananda in my soul, I will listen to the sound, I'll listen to the sound of Om. I listen to the sound of Om. I live in the light of love at the center of creation. Every one of us is at the center of creation because it exists within us, the center of creation. So it's just, I'm a child, I'm God's child with Rudy in my heart, with Nityananda in my soul. It just works, I listen to the sound of Om. I live in the light of love at the center of creation. I use this quite a bit in the meditation, and it really takes me very deep inside.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
Stuart, in the meditation, I go blind. I don't see, and I feel like I have to make an effort to see. If I take away my attention from the hara to look, that my vision is taken away. No.
Don't do that. Your vision will come back. Don't take your attention away from the hana, because it'll just create more tension in your head. And just take the energy in and don't worry about it. Your vision will come back. It's not that you're going blind. It's mostly it's the energy breaking up tension that's in your head that's creating that situation. So if you stay centered, and open your heart, and all that'll come down, it'll go away. But that thing you described is just tension in your head, and the energy is trying to break it up. So it creates that state. But if you open your heart, it'll all come down, and you're not going to have that situation or that problem. Does anyone else have a question? Listen, right in the middle of this incredible talk, people are sending chat messages it's stupid, and it really is not good. It's not a good thing to do. And it just distracts everybody, and it keeps people from really focusing on what's going on. So please don't do that. I don't know who did that. I don't even care who did it, but it's just not a good thing to do, to do that kind of thing. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Okay, if there are no more questions, there will be class tomorrow evening, and I'm looking forward to seeing everybody. God bless you all, and thank you for being here and participating in this. And also, thank you for asking that question, because it brought out, I think, some very profound teachings in a very simple way, and hopefully people can understand these things and use them in their day-to-day life. I think that would be really something wonderful. So bless you all, and I will see everybody tomorrow. And good night.
Thank you, Stuart. Thank you.
Thank you,